Isaac Cotto when the kid plot. Yo, we can't stop, man. Y'all know we the baddest. We give it 100, no capping. Welcome to Stop the Madness. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stop the Madness. I am your host, the Kid Plot. My co-host, Isaac Cotto, is in the building.
We're back.
We are finally back. We have a great episode for you guys, but before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you're notified when we make more videos like this. I don't even know what we're talking about, but I know you do.
Yes.
And I'm going to jump in as I always do.
I just got back from El Salvador.
Oh, so we about to have an El Salvador topic?
What was crazy, I had just gotten back, and literally the next day, Tucker Carlson dropped a video where he went to El Salvador and had a long-form interview with the president of El Salvador. And just to give you some background, just in case you don't know. So I did immigration for about 10 years. Okay. And I had a lot of clients that came from El Salvador. A majority of these people were coming because gang members were charging them rent to have their businesses and threatening their lives if they didn't pay. They were recruiting their children, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, to join the gang. And if not, you can possibly be killed and have those kind of repercussions. So the gangs basically would run the country and run neighborhoods.
I remember we spoke about that. Yeah.
Right? So what the president did, Bukele did, he went ahead and made a plan, and he talks about it on his interview, where they basically, within a 2 to 3 year period, the country went from the most dangerous country in the world to the safest country in the Western Hemisphere.
Because they was putting that.
They put if you was a gang member and you hanging around with a gang member and the patrols came around, they were taking your ass too. Like everybody was getting picked up. Damn. And in these 3 years, they created a super prison in El Salvador where there's no beds. It's just a concrete slab bed. And they got like 30, 40 people, sleeping in there. And it is the most secure, safe. They don't run the jails anymore. They control the prison system. And this super prison that they built is like 7 football fields and basically clean the entire country.
So in other words, what you're insinuating, or what they're insinuating, is that America is too soft? Well, we babying our prisoners?
No. Well, what they did, there was a huge outcry because of what they were doing, right? Like, they weren't asking for a warrant. If you was a gang member and you're in the house and lived in the house, there was no warrant. They're going in the house and you coming out and you're getting picked up, right? So a lot of organizations were condemning El Salvador because of the violations of human rights of these people that were getting arrested. Mm-hmm. But the results are undeniable, right? It is the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. I went there. We were in a tourist area, and even in the tourist area of El Salvador, which is called, he changed the name. It used to be called El Tunco. It was like a surfer town type spot, a lot of bars and restaurants. He changed it to Surf City. Okay. Even then, it was pretty safe because you have a lot of Europeans would go there. We were there, and I don't know, every 5-10 minutes, you would see patrols of police officers going up and down, like safe as safe can be. And so within the 3 year period, I mean, he's locked up everybody. And I was talking to one of the drivers that I've known for a few years, and he told me the story. He's like, look, in the neighborhood where I lived, the gang ran the neighborhood. Like, if you wanted to come in, go out, if you wanted to do business, you had to pay tax. They went in, cleaned it up. Now you have those business owners are actually flourishing because guess what? They're not paying a tax anymore. You can come in and out. You can walk in the middle of the night in the neighborhoods. He told me a story of once they got rid of the gangs in the streets, there were some teenage kids trying to start up the gangs in the school, 12, 13-year-olds. The police went into the school, picked up the kids, and put them in the adult prison. Damn. Guess what? There's no gangs in the schools.
That would never happen. Here. That would never happen here.
So the question goes he says it in the interview. What about the human rights of the parents, the kids, the people that were raped, killed, that were basically under siege, where, I mean, the murder rate was ultra high. What about their human rights?
Right.
So if you're going to prioritize the human rights of individuals, well, the gang members and the criminals are on the last line of concern when it comes to human rights.
Right.
And so there was a moment when he started arresting, the gangs were making threats like, we're going to start killing. And he did a press conference. He said, if they want to do that, the food that goes into the prisons are going to be given to the people.
I remember that.
Right?
I remember that.
He said, zero fear. But at the end of the day, it got done, cleaned up the country. And now all kinds of investments are coming to El Salvador. Google just opened this huge facility over there and completely changed the country. And the question is, why can that not be done here in the United States? And if you was to do it, how would you do it? I mean, like, this is a poor country.
Yeah.
They say, I jokingly say he's the best dictator the world's ever seen, but he breaks it down. The president cannot remove anybody from the Supreme Court in El Salvador. Only their Congress. Well, guess what? If you have a supermajority in their Congress, Congress has the ability to remove Supreme Court judges. Those new judges now pass the laws that he needs passed to affect his agenda. And they did not violate any rule.
Well, hold on real quick. Because you said something about why can't we do that here? So my question is, because you're more informed about what's happening in Salvador, clearly, because you saw some of the interviews and whatnot. So, but my question is, what is it that what was his threat, I guess you could say, or what was the ultimatum? So, like, okay, you do this, then this happens. Like, so how did he cut the crime down in a few years, you said, right? So
it was like a 2-year period.
But was it just jail time, or was it
people
beyond that?
No. People were just all incarcerated. Like, they built more jails
For any crime. Like, for what type of crime,
any gang related violent crime.
Okay.
Like, I mean, if I don't know, a traffic violation, that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about threats of violence, violent individuals. MS-13 was a huge problem.
So I guess my question is, was he? I know you said something about when the gang members said, "Oh, we're gonna kill more people," whatever the case may be, right? So he said he was gonna stop bringing food. So in other words, you're saying that his retaliation or his response to these gang members, these violent people that were committing crimes, was inhumane, an inhumane type of response?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have a lot of the gang leaders were already in custody, you ain't gonna get food.
So it's inhumane. Okay, yeah. So that's the reason why in America that'll never happen.
Again, yes, we both agree. We both agree
because they will never take an inhumane approach.
They won't take the drastic measures.
Inhumane approach, and unfortunately, criminals take inhumane approaches all the time. Mm-hmm. And if you're not willing to match fire with fire, it's going to be what you have.
I was talking to my mother-in-law. She's from Venezuela. And she went with us on the trip to El Salvador, and she was like, her mouth was wide open, like, I can't believe how safe it is here. Because she, even coming from Venezuela, she was afraid of what it would be like. But my thing, I think we're just too large of a country.
Yeah,
El Salvador is a very small country, right?
Of course.
So I think it's easier to affect those kind of change. That'd be something akin to saying, hey, we're gonna institute this policy in the Bronx, and the Bronx has, I don't know, say 2 million residents. The United States has 360 million residents, right?
Big difference.
You cannot affect that kind of policy on a country like the United States unless you're kind of like a total dictatorship or something like that. Right. But it was a sad tale where country that's poor, has no resources, whatever. You get a president, and they've been many presidents. The issue had been ongoing, but he's the first one to get in there and actually talk about the change and make the change happen.
Right.
And
so we have a video, don't we?
Yeah, we got some other videos. We're gonna put some videos up, and he's talking about just kind of like some of the differences here in the United States and kind of like
who's talking? That's the president.
that's President. Yeah, Bukele's his name.
Okay.
Speaks perfect English, by the way.
So this is an interview that you saw Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, this is a clip with Tucker.
Years. The Empire State was built in a year. 1 year. They built the Empire State. Things were working, right? I don't know what were things back then, I don't know, but they built the Empire State in 1 year. What happened with the World Trade Center, Freedom Tower, they was changed the name that later to World Trade Center. How long did it take?
Forever.
Yeah. And it was, the whole country united to build it. There was no budgetary, I mean, I know it was private, but it was no, if it needed budgetary, it was not a problem of budget or investors willing to pour money on it or engineers. I mean, why would it take over a decade to build something that was so significant for the whole country? I mean, you could build the tallest building in the world. You didn't. You could have built the tallest building in the world and said, okay, we're coming back bigger and stronger. We're going to build, we got a hit, but now we're going to build back better and stronger, build back better and stronger, right? Or whatever. And build it, 2 mile high skyscraper. I'm not a fan of 2 mile high skyscrapers, but you could have done that. I mean, you have the money, you have the resources, you have the engineers, you have the market. Because if I built a mile skyscraper, I can't fill with offices because I don't have enough market to fill with residences and offices or whatever. You do have the market in New York to to build offices, and you want hotel rooms. I mean, it would feel like this, but you didn't. You took over a decade to build a very unimpressive building.
That's you can stop it there.
Yeah.
It's sad because it talks about the inefficiency, the bureaucracy, and just kind of the mismanagement.
Yeah.
Like he just pointed out. Like
That's a good point.
Empire State Building was built in a year, and something that the entire country was behind took 10, 11 years to build.
Now, obviously, the Freedom Tower is much bigger, but
Yes.
still, we also have a lot more resources today than they did in the 70s.
Of
no,
course.
sorry, in the 30s.
30s.
1931.
In the 30s. And
Wow.
he talks about, he mentions like, how long do you think it's going to take to fix the bridge in Baltimore? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but it's why? Again, like, we're a country with so many resources.
What do you think it is? Because I have no idea as to what the reason could possibly be.
I think, like I said, I think it's almost so big at this point. It just becomes so. If you give medicine to a 10-pound, animal, and I guess you take one whatever of medicine to a 10-pound animal, the medicine is going to take effect right away, right? If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and click here. If you want to see more videos like this, click here.